What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building. What's happening?
Hey, it's your girl Ray P on the mic. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, we back at you again with another episode of the Culture Garden Podcast.
Yo.
Feels good to be back. A little refreshed. Had a little 2-week break. Happy New Year to everyone out there listening and watching.
Yeah.
Hope everybody got those Christmas trees down.
No, you don't have to have them down yet.
Come on, it's after New
It's
Year's.
a new year.
So it's New Year's. Come on, trees out of here. Stop it. I passed a few when I was looking in the window. Well, that sounds like some creep shit, but you can see them through the lights. You can see
Right.
them.
I got it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm like, man, take that tree down. But shout out to y'all for listening, tuning in as always. We appreciate y'all. We miss y'all.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Happy to be back talking about the culture. And today, as you can tell, you've seen the title. We're going to be talking about the best man in the final chapters. We hope everybody enjoyed our best man holiday episode.
Yes.
We actually recorded a predictions episode for this right before that, so we'll get into all of it. Before we get started today, it just feels like I gotta say this: like prayers up to Damar Hamlin.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know this is a film podcast, and we don't get into sports or anything like that often, but with us being Cincinnatians, me in school, being in the city when that happened, I actually was going to be at that game, but sold my tickets. Like I never seen anything like that, and just kind of moved me a certain way.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel right to continue with the pod or do everything as normal without at least, wanting to send up some prayers for him.
Yes.
And all the best, man. That was a crazy moment.
Stay
But
strong, bro.
yeah, want to acknowledge Damar Hamlin.
Absolutely.
So, best man final chapters.
We here.
We here. Also, before we get right into it, please remember we're gonna release this on our Culture Garden feed as well as our We Got Y'all feed.
Yeah.
Want to start incorporating that feed because we're gonna do a lot of television on there. So
Subscribe to that.
yeah, if you can, if you listen on the Culture Garden feed, just pause and slide on over to the We Got Y'all feed. It's the same episode. Just hit the link. If y'all like, nigga, if I pause this episode, I'm not listening, then you stay where you at. Where you at, man? Just rock with us, man. But we appreciate y'all. Ray P, let's start with you.
Oh, okay.
What did you think about the series? What were your thoughts? Let's just get right into a conversation.
Okay. So I watched twice because I was off for the last 2 weeks, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
On my first watch, I was like, I don't love this.
Oh,
I don't love it. I was like, damn, they probably should have gone with the whole movie thing situation that was planned. We probably could have got more out of it. On the second watch, I was like, okay, I fuck with it.
okay.
It was well written. I feel like pause on the well written. I think everybody did their thing, acting wise. Everybody performed well. But something wasn't curling all the way over for me. I absolutely hated what they did to Candace's character. I felt like when she was a stripper, even though that's a persona, when she was Candy, she was confident, she was sexy, and as she just became this school marm, and I'm like, girl, you had too much swag to be that, and to be so insecure because you were dancing to put yourself through school. I'm assuming you finished.
Yeah.
So you're qualified to be in the places that you're in. And I'm a little surprised, like Merch didn't encourage you to go to school to pursue your master's or whatever 13 years ago. Like he asked you to do that when y'all got these teenage daughters. I don't know. It's a little, he didn't ask you to do it then. Like you make a decision, like I have to do something for me. But I don't know. So that was strange to me. I hated Robin the whole time, but I haven't liked her the entire I guess trilogy at this point,
Yeah.
So that's no huge surprise. But when I sat and rewatched it, I was like, okay, this is good. And it made me take back my saying during the predictions episode is, do you want more? Because now I want a little more. Like
Okay.
now you can give me something else because I want to
Okay.
see what
All
you're
right.
doing. So that's where I stand on it. I'll give you my rating at the end.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Fair. School. What about you?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that I liked it a lot. I'm not gonna say I loved it. I liked it. The first, like you always know, we don't talk about this, but I did tell Rich like the first 10 minutes of it, specifically Shelby and the Andy Cohen, that shit was like kind of corny to me, and I kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And then
I don't want to cut you off. Do you watch Bravo? Do you watch Bravo?
And that's what he said. Like, do you watch that? And I don't. So, but at first I was like, this is corny, mad corny. But you know, whatever. But as a whole, I'm rocking with it. I think it was well written, beautiful. Man, beautiful Black people. You know what I mean? The chemistry's still there.
Yeah.
Just everything was curling all the way over for me. So
period.
Nah, that's my fault.
Nah,
all right. Me and you were a little bit opposite, Ray P.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the series. However, I enjoyed it more in the first watch than the second watch.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I loved it. Like, and I love it still, but I loved it like the first watch. I was just like, okay, then like I'm glad we got him. I don't know if that has to do with like when it drops. Holiday season is always just a good time anyway, for the most part. So you a couple days before Christmas, got some time off, you just chilling, watching, you know what I mean, doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, it just felt good. But as I went through it again, I picked up a little bit more of the stuff that kind of bothered me. Some of the holes that they left, which I kind of found inexcusable, because you have the setting with 8 episodes to kind of get everything in there. There shouldn't really be any loose ends. There shouldn't be any unanswered questions. And there were a few of those.
I want to get into your unanswered questions.
You said what?
I want to get into your unanswered questions.
Yeah, we'll get there. And you know, and they weren't all major stuff. It was just even small stuff, just like character development. I'm like, all right, well, how did this happen? But overall, I really do want to shout out Malcolm D. Lee for the development of these characters.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of our prediction episode. I kind of saw what you were talking about, School, with the women at the forefront. We get more of their story. I was thinking to myself, like, this is really the first time in this whole, we'll call it a trilogy, as Rachel said, that we got everybody in their own settings, their own home settings. Other than the beginning of the Best Man movie, when we were in, when Robin was using Harper's Kitchen and stuff, everything's either been at the Sullivans or it's been in a group setting. So we actually got the home life of everyone. And I thought that was dope. I thought the themes that they went through were just growing with friends, growing with your partners.
I think, not to cut you off, I think earlier too, I had told you time is a big character in this whole thing, you know, time. We'll get into merch and the idea of growing, how important it is to grow with your friends. You know, like anybody else, any other relationship, but your friends specifically, because you kind of put people in a box on when you first met them, or some of the, you know, certain memories that you have, and they can grow from that, and they different people from that. And we'll talk about all of it. But I am also want to shout out the timeline. I'm very happy with the timeline. I'm glad that I know in the prediction episode, we talked about 9 years later. We really started 2 years later. Built up from there, and we got a calendar in episode 3 of what was going on. And as soon as I saw that January 2020, I'm like, uh-oh.
Right.
I'm like, Spivey brand's opening in Paris. That shit ain't about to last long. So we see how real life events that we all can relate to impacted these characters as well. So
great writing.
Yeah, absolutely. But shout out to them. Like I said, there's little small stuff, and I enjoyed the storyline, and let's go ahead and just get into it. As far as these episodes. So how do I want to start this? I guess, well, before we can get that, let's talk about these predictions, because there are a couple things that we talked about, right? We talked about who Quentin was going to marry. And we found out that we are all a little bit right in some sense. Because Rachel, you said Quentin and Shelby was gonna mess around and wouldn't be surprised if they married or we celebrating their divorce, one of the 2. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Quentin didn't even go through with it, which technically he didn't. He didn't marry the person he was there to marry.
Yeah.
School, I think you mentioned something along the lines of, or excuse me, we all mentioned that we ain't believe in Robin and Harper.
Yeah.
Like we knew that was like no surprise at all. I think we said Candace and Merchant fine, which what they are, and any other couple we missed. And Lance is the one character I'd say that I don't think they gave him much to. I mean, obviously he has the big storyline with his first child. Yeah. But the storyline itself, it just seemed very like streamlined. Maybe because he didn't have a partner really to share with. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what was the thing with Lance, but it did seem like he was everywhere. It was everywhere.
Yeah,
he's single.
Yeah, speaking of Lance, you said we both were saying, is he gonna be widow Lance or is he gonna be?
I ain't want Lance, man.
Nah, Lance was out here getting it in. Everybody agrees different.
I like bearded Lance. Even though that was depression, that looked really, really good on him. Amen. Hello, somebody.
Oh man.
Let me ask this. I heard the ladies was upset with Morris, man. Is this true for the body stunt double scene?
What you mean?
Oh, I didn't understand. I don't have no idea what you're talking about.
Why would they be? Who was upset?
Was the lady. I heard the ladies on Twitter were upset because he used the stunt double.
Oh,
when he jumped in the pool. They was like, come on, Morris, we want to see your ass. So I was just asking.
No, I didn't even know that wasn't him.
Yeah, I just seen it on Twitter. They was upset, man.
I didn't see that. My timeline, but I also tried to stay off the timeline a little bit because I was trying not to have people's their thoughts like influence and sway mine, So obviously you see a couple little things. I liked a few tweets, but for the most part I didn't. I didn't know that was a stunt double. So double. So I missed that completely. Yeah. He looked good regardless, whoever it was. And that probably was just like a little insecurity because he is 50 something. So maybe the ass ain't that tight, but it probably ain't sagging. You know what I'm saying? Because he is still in pretty good shape.
Hey.
Let's pick up where these characters are when we see them again.
Okay.
As you mentioned earlier, it's 2015, so we 2 years after the Best Man holiday.
Yep.
We see Lance in his grieving period. We see where Merchant, Harper are kind of still they've always been tight, obviously, but they're still like kind of making sure that they're taking care of things together in a sense. We see Merchant's urge to be the best man, his desire.
Merch pissed me off.
With which part? The whole time or?
Definitely episode. Throughout, but definitely the first few episodes with the whole desire to be best man. Like
that was odd. And I think it's because of what we see or end up knowing about Merch throughout. I think he just wants to be. He said it himself that it was because he missed the fellas, and missed that camaraderie. But I think it was a little bit more. I think Merch was really looking for his acceptance in his own friend group.
Okay, right. As to which, but you have it. Harper and Q have been friends since 9th grade,
which was interesting to me.
You can't be mad at that.
Can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at that.
He's pretty much the only one that Q calls Joe is Harper because again, both from DC. Even though again that's Chicago slang, but whatever.
Right.
I thought that was whack. And to harp on it so much, like this why they don't be fucking with you because you be doing the most, and that's all I kept thinking throughout the whole first few episodes. Like, damn, nigga, back off. But I do know people that get salty about stuff like that. Let me tell you, I don't have to be in another wedding as long as I'm Black. Do you hear me? Like, I don't have to do it, let alone be a maid of honor. Like, nigga, all that extra bread, extra time, nigga. No, I don't have to do it. I don't want to do it. Please don't ask me.
I feel you.
Depending on who you are, I'm gonna tell you no.
Nah, that's real. So, I told y'all when we did the Best Man episode, I've been to 7 weddings. Like, I'm cool. Like, I've been honored to stand next to people, but I'm cool. Especially like you said, the bread part. Yeah, rearranging your schedule, all that. But one thing that oh man, what was I just about to say? Lance, I mean not Lance, but Harper there should have been a scene where Harper looks at Merch and say, "Hey man, this is getting weird.
Yeah,
like this is getting odd. Like you literally you holding my movie for hostage over the best man. Like that's weird."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
now,
Candace did it.
This I was just gonna say that I felt like they used Candace to do that. Like he even thought about a relationship with him and what their name would be. Like, yo, he was obsessed.
You're moving weird, my man.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's Merch looking for when you hit a point in your life. You know, everybody has friends. You know, maybe multiple friend groups, and as you get older, drop off, and then you realize like, all right, this is my core. Like, this is it. Like, literally, this is my people. This is who I talk to all the time.
And maybe Merch didn't feel important.
So that's what I was just about to say. So I think once he finds out, like, I don't know where I fit in all of this. We don't get as much time as we used to be. I'm a father now. I'm excelling in academia. I need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when we do get together, it's something I'm desiring. I'm desiring for this camaraderie, for this brotherhood. And when we do get together, I'm still the butt of y'all jokes. And I thought we passed that. Like, I'm a grown ass man. Like, so the people I love is clowning me. It's starting to chip away. Now that still doesn't excuse Merch for acting like that over that whole best man thing. Right. That's weird. There's no excuses for that. But I am happy that he ended up being the best man, and he showed up. I think he wanted to show, like, in low key. I guess Merch.
I think Merch and Q are the closest.
You said what?
Merch and Quentin, despite he and Harper growing up together, I think that he and Quentin are the closest. I think they have the most natural relationship. So, okay, Harper grew up with Quentin, but Lance is his best friend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's sort of the same with Merch and Q. Like, okay, we were roommates. So you came to school with a nigga that you've known since 9th grade. But y'all didn't choose to room together. You know, you roomed with Lance and you roomed with Merch. I mean, obviously, luck of the draw, but y'all didn't make that decision to go all the way to school together. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's even interesting in and of itself, which maybe, and this is a rabbit hole, like, okay, yeah, y'all knew each other since 9th grade, but maybe y'all wasn't niggas because, again,
that's true. That happens.
Different personalities, but you come to school, it's like, oh shit, we both came here from DC together. We know each other. You're a familiar place. Cool. We a friend group. And then we just happen to have these two roommates who are also cool as fuck. Oh, wow. The four of our personalities gel really well. So that's something else that I thought about.
Yeah, that commonality, that whole, like, anytime you narrow down that room. So if I'm at University of Toledo and I meet somebody from Cincinnati, you automatically, what's up? Where you from? Because you know something, you can speak my language a little bit more than anybody else here. Same way you out of the country, like you find somebody from the States, and they got to be from Ohio. You just from the States. Oh, shit. You from the States. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. Let me ask y'all a question. I think this is the best version, and I really want to hear what y'all say. I think this is the best version. I don't know if best version is the right thing, but the best version of Harper. I think Harper didn't switch up from who we know him to be.
Okay.
Which gets into the whole Robin thing. And we don't have to talk about it in detail yet, but Robin knew Harper didn't pull no surprises. He's who he is in the Best Man final chapter, who he was in the Best Man. Like personality wise, character wise, like he kind of laid down who he was. And I think Harper was, dare I say, I can't be mad at him for anything that happened because like Harper been showed us who he was, good and bad.
I think it's episode 3 or 4. I don't know. See, my notes is all over the place. Now I can't find my quote.
Which one?
But, it's one of those where Merch says, anytime you have the opportunity, first, so I think it's like episode 3, he goes, Harp gonna be Harp.
Yeah, Harp gonna be Harp is.
So he says that very early on. And then maybe down to episode 5.
It was episode 8 when they was arguing. When Robin came.
Okay.
to Quentin's about you filed for custody.
That was the retirement party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Retired right before they went to Lance's jersey retirement. That's when he said that you always choose you.
Whenever you have the chance to choose yourself or do the right thing, you choose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's in episode 8, like you said. So the first one must be in like maybe episode 4 or something like that. I can't scroll fast enough.
It was about he was talking to Candace at the kitchen table about the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And like, did you talk to Harper about it? Why? Harper just gonna harp.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, like he's painted a picture of who he is. He's always delivered on that, which is why the whole Robin. I get you're supposed to grow with your partner, but Robin went OD a little bit, man. Ghana, man, what the fuck?
Listen,
let's talk about it, man. We on it, man. Let's talk about this. We already talking about it, man. What's going on, Robin? Man?
When it comes,
let's start with the only father.
Look, when it comes down to Robin and Harper, I don't know about y'all, but especially as the final chapters go on, I kind of feel like Robin was the consolation prize. Like she wasn't really who he wanted. Like,
he never. This was listen. Now, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
I know chapters, nigga. We knew that in The Best Man.
Let me tell you something real quick. Robin and Harper are the prime example of don't settle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When it comes to partnership, when it comes to love, like don't settle and talk yourself into being with somebody.
Yeah.
I never want to be with somebody I got to talk myself into.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Harper did with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And you can like Harper was so goal driven and purpose driven that he didn't really spend too much time caring that he didn't marry his soulmate because he was always had something else on his mind. Let's get a bigger house. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then when that finally hit him, he wanted to be a good husband. I really truly believe he did, but I think he would have made it work a little bit more if he was with Jordan or somebody he really, really loved.
Yeah.
And let me say this to what you just said. He didn't have to worry about his soulmate because his soulmate was always in his orbit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
In damn near every episode, we see Harper and Jordan still having walks in the park, private lunches, private coffee.
Yep.
They are together alone damn near every episode having what I would consider inappropriate time and conversation.
Man.
Can I say something real quick? Because this is, I don't want to jump ahead to like things the flaws, but I really was upset that we had no explanation as to how everybody became so cool. Because the last time we saw, like, all right, so for example, Candace and Shelby.
Go ahead.
Candace helped Shelby with the lap dance thing. Like, how did y'all get so tight when y'all was scrapping 2 years ago? Like, at least give me a one-liner to sell me, hey, that trip we took together to such and such really healed our relationship. Give me something. Yeah. Don't tell me y'all just this tight. Same thing with Robin and Jordan. Hey, beautiful. Like, what? Like, what?
Let me tell you,
man. Especially when they still got the nerve to be doing all that. They taking the and it looks super guilty. And like the first couple episodes, whenever they be Jordan and Harper be having those combos, when Robin come in the picture, Harper hop up like he know he guilty.
Mm-hmm. Now the Jordan thing, I just feel like Jordan is Jordan. Like her saying, "Hey, beautiful," like that's just her trying to break that ice.
They was tight, bro.
But when it comes down to what you're talking about with Harper
Shelby
and Jordan, bro, it was a moment. I don't know if it might have been episode 7 or 8, but it was definitely towards the end when he talks about not finding anyone. No one like me. No one thinks like me. And then he stops and goes, except for you. Like,
I think that's when it was at her apartment.
Nah, it was
or on the carousel.
Yeah, something. They was outside.
Okay.
But yeah, he basically told her, like,
reading the reviews.
Yeah.
Somewhere around
there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. He definitely told her, like, you my person.
Okay.
They been knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look, let me do Candace and Shelby. Let's start with them. They were cool. First off, Mia's death brought everybody together. Let's start there.
Okay.
So now everybody is cool, quote unquote. Shelby and Jordan were tight.
Super tight.
Which side eye? Because y'all wasn't that tight before. But okay.
Right.
but Shelby solicited Candace to help her with the striptease for Q. She bribed her with the spa day that this mother who is so downtrodden and with this wig desperately needed, so in order to help her. So that's how they got cool. Like, you do something for me, I do something for you. I wrote down, you can very clearly see, even by episode 6, before the whole Harper and Jordan night together thing gets weird. I wrote down, you can clearly see that that Robin and Jordan still don't fuck with each other. It is very surface. It is very, hey, beautiful, let's be cool because this is the group. Like, we've been around each other all these years, and we cannot still have whatever this rift is between us. You should see by now, I don't want your man, even though I very clearly do.
Yeah.
You should see. That's why, she's like, I don't even remember what episode it was. When we're meeting Demetrius and Robin sort of goes, he could be her person. Nigga, we all know he's not. No, he's not, because Harper is. So I'm not surprised.
Terry Silver.
They were right. They were playing nice, but it was clear to me, and maybe just because I'm a woman, I knew that her and Jordan was not fucking with each other. Like, we play nice for the group. They never sat immediately next to each other. They never, maybe once or twice, it was just them two, but it was always somebody else coming up almost immediately after. Like, how many true friendly Jordan and Robin scenes do we get in 8 hours of television?
That's fair.
2 minutes, like, you just didn't see it because the relationship is not there. Because deep down, niggas be knowing what the fuck is going on, and they live in denial.
That's real. That's why. Listen, do not settle.
And niggas and bitches alike.
So since we're on the theme of like marriage and relationships, Shelby and Quentin, we knew Shelby was gonna not Shelby. We knew Quentin was scheduled to marry Nicole Aria Parker's character,
Ziamara.
Which was, cool, whatever, cool little cameo for a couple episodes. Like,
I really liked her character. She's not my scene stealer, nothing crazy.
Okay.
But I definitely like how raw she was. That how she put on that facade, and then like she stepped to Shelby, and like, I like
eating Shelby ass up.
Yeah, she was.
Because ain't nothing better than that, like, quiet check. Like, I ain't gotta G check you. Like,
well, I wrote down in my quote, she told her, keep my daughter's name out your mouth. Won't you keep my man out yours? Like,
yeah, she has some wines.
She said, how does my pussy taste?
Yeah, man, listen, she was serving them up.
First off, I'm about to whoop your ass.
Quentin's kind of the same thing. Like, Quentin didn't want to. He needed. And here's the funny thing about Quentin. Quentin needs like that validation. He needed Shelby to get him, versus like him going to go get Shelby. I mean, he did at the end, but he had to know that Shelby was down for it. Right? That's why they had that. I thought one thing was very interesting. It might have been episode 2 when they did the plant. Not hypnosis, but
they took that
plant effect and all that, and they were having a conversation. It's just like, you never offer me anything more than sex, like. And Quentin could have easily ever, like, in the past, hit Shelby up on something like, yo, where do you think this could go? What do you blah blah blah? Right. But it's kind of like Quincy and Love and Basketball, like the kind of the insecurity where I need you to be the one and let me know that that's cool before I go ahead and step forward.
That's a lot of niggas though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I thought it was very interesting that he was really ready to, because we knew Quentin didn't want to marry her.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know if he wanted to marry Shelby, and I'm glad. I really think that since they're together, like, I really believe in that relationship.
Best relationship for the group.
I think that's the perfect example of you set your own standards for what your relationship looks like, and you go with somebody that gets you. And they got each other. And no matter how crazy it was, and I think they were in denial for years about it because it didn't make sense. Yeah. But another topic real quick. real quick. Just another topic that really wasn't discussed, but I just want to bring it up. The idea of friends dating past, relationship people. So obviously we know Merch and Shelby had a thing back in the day. Now this is years ago, but it always seems like this topic is a fire starter. Like if that was me, she off limits, he off limits, blah blah blah. Depending on who say it. Not once was it ever deemed to be an issue.
Well, I don't even think they even touched on a relationship, honestly. Like, how long were they together? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Probably for the past couple years. I'd say since. I don't know. We don't know because at the end of '99,
give us any information on Merch and Shelby's relationship. You know what I mean? For you to feel away, like, because if they was together for a couple years, hell no.
Oh no, Merch and Shelby, since college.
They was together for a minute in college. From college up until the wedding, the first wedding. Yeah.
So it's about a decade. So what do you like? What do you think about that? Like, because Merch ain't say a word. Merch was cool with it. Like, because a lot of people say, "Hey, you found your wife. She should be off." Hey, listen, that was just a very funny little thing, and nobody said anything about it.
Right.
It's a funny little thing, and I done did a funny little thing in my life. It gets touchy.
I just can't figure out how it wasn't addressed.
Because one of the reasons is probably because if you merch, you can't touch on it because you with your wife, who's going to think, why you give a damn? You still care? You got me now. Why do you? It's one of them slopes that's real.
It can get real dangerous real quick, especially if if my ex is with the new and that's the homie. Like I can be, hey, listen, man, I know what you're doing. I'm saying I would never take it there out of respect, but it just can be a funny little thing, man. I'm not saying it can't happen.
I mean, it's happened. It's definitely happened. I think here is where it's not as much of a gray area and not as funky. It would be different if over the course of those, let's say 10 years of their relationship, let's say 7, if there was inkling that that Quentin and Shelby may have been sneaking and geeking or had some funny underlying feelings going on. They didn't have that before. Right. So it's not like they were pining after each other while Merch and Shelby were together. I think maybe some of that tension was maybe like some underlying sexual tension. But I felt like up until they were in the bed that Quentin genuinely did not like Shelby in the first Best Man. So I think, and sometimes that does happen. You randomly happen to sleep with somebody. It's like, oh shit. Oh, you actually are like, cool. Wait a minute. Wait. What happened? How did we get here? So it just depends. I think that then we would have seen like confrontation. Like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Was y'all doing this? Was y'all kicking it behind my back? But also to Merch's character, you probably not checking Quentin, especially not back then. And okay, so Best Man 1, we know that they have this one night stand after the wedding. Best Man 2, we see how good Quentin was with Kennedy, but we don't really know that he met her before that night. Like, we don't know what he and Shelby's relationship had been. Well, obviously, he her fucking daddy, but we don't know what their relationship had been up until that point. And so, again, we see that they sleep together. He sends her the dick pic in the Best Man holiday, then they sleep together again after the funeral. Like, why do we always do this? You know what I'm saying? And then when they say maybe this is something, no, that's the first time we see that maybe it was more than just those 2 nights. You know what I'm saying? Because she said, why does this keep happening? So a keep happening ain't twice. A keep happening is more than once and more than twice. Okay. Even sneaking and geeking. And so fast forward to episode 1 when she's on Watch What Happens Live with Andy. And she has that whole meltdown when she finds out that Quentin is engaged. That lets me know that in these 2 years, y'all been fucking. Because otherwise, no matter what, that's not the reaction.
Right.
If
Absolutely.
this not your nigga like that.
And it's been more than that. They've been actually like, there's some feelings there for her to
There's
react.
feelings there, yeah.
Cool. You was about to say something.
No, I was just gonna chime in on what you was talking about. I always forget about that moment at the wedding where he pulled the thing off her. Remember
the garter belt.
Yep. But I think that was one of the first moments that they were like, hold on.
And they had a callback to that scene. Tell me you like it.
Tell me you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like when she did the striptease at his bachelor party, like kind of the similar thing. Yeah, very, very interesting. I will say that I just got to mention, like, you kept my daughter away from me for 10 years, bro.
That's the thing that bothers me.
Like, come on, man. That's
like
cool. They do a lot of just skipping over stuff.
You have to. That's something you definitely got to tell me after we got married.
Yeah,
because I don't know if I can even like what you on. Like, why you what? Like, we could have probably did work something out. Speaking of working something out, last point before we go into another theme, I will say this about the whole Merch, Shelby, Quentin thing. Best case scenario is that those two get married. Because I think if you the homie, you can at least say, all right, at least y'all love each other. Yeah, you weren't just trying to stroke. You weren't just trying to hit. Yeah. You just, you know what I'm saying? Because that can look like, oh, you just trying to hit my ex-girl and nothing. But like, y'all really had a thing. I respect that. Like, I can always respect that, especially if it's, like I said, I think they fit the best out of everybody.
But nigga, you 10 years removed from fucking me. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Your homeboy or not. I don't give a hey.
No, you don't care, right? And I guess you know, and I'm shout out to Lance for finding love too.
Shout out to Jasmine. Yeah,
she was real.
I peeped that early.
Yeah, you kind of knew that was gonna come, and I'm glad that it took time.
That's that shout out to time. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes sometimes you meet somebody and you actually have that chemistry, but it ain't the right time. It just is what it is.
Lance was wilding on that island.
What's that?
Lance was wilding on that island.
He was
as he should have. And my boy owns it. Come on, man, stop it. I'm not acting a donkey. Y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. Another big thing that we've had with the whole Best Man series is friendships and growing friendships. And you know, I touched on it at the beginning, but just making sure you grow with your friends and evolve with your friends, and make sure you hold everybody accountable. You know, I'm a strong believer in your friends really shouldn't surprise you. Like, you should really know your friends in and out, like kind of what like Merch said, heart on heart. Good, heart on heart. And it was good to see. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Merch is my favorite character, like in the series. And I think that's because he had the most growth. He had the most change. Like, from, if you go back and watch Best Man to where he is now, and that comes with life. He's a father now. He's a husband.
Yes.
But one of my favorite scenes is when Quentin, you know, meets him for breakfast as he's walking, with the two coffee shops. I say, Merch is pretty much like, every man has a breaking point, and I've reached mine. And that whole moment, that whole speech, like, Quentin, don't you think you're being a little sensitive? Oh, that's what it is. Merch being a sensitive bitch ass nigga. Like, I was like, oh snap, like Merch, like, hit that point.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what it's like to be like, you know, have your manhood questioned, like, by your friends, like the people you say love you. Like, I've always looked out for Harp, and it's never reciprocated. Like, all this stuff was coming out. He realized it. And I'm glad that Merch stood up for himself. And what makes those things even funnier is Merch started doing MMA. So Merch really thought in his head, like, I'll beat all y'all asses. Except for Lance, like, I might not whoop Lance, but I'll definitely whoop you, Queen, and I whoop Harper. Like, straight up. So I dare y'all to step to me. Like, just his bold, not the boldness, but I ain't showing up. I ain't got to explain myself. You know, hey, Harper, I'm not going to make it to the premiere. Enjoy yourself. Have fun.
Yep. Straight up.
And I feel him. Like I'm not. Yeah, I feel him, man. Because that nobody, like I said, that scene with Quentin just said so much about what Murch was feeling on the inside, and just the need to get that anger out. I've always said, man, I want to go to like a what do they call those things? Like a crash room or whatever, just the stuff you can just break like a bat and just swing it, just break it, let out all your frustration. That's what he was doing with the MMA. And I thought that was pretty, I ain't gonna say it was the most realistic when it started. Like as soon as dudes say you a natural, I'm like, I don't really see Murch whooping shit. But by the time it all ended up, I'm like, all right, then, like you never know what your talents are.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That was one of my favorite things as well, Quentin with the coffee, because he knew that something was off. First off, Quentin is my favorite character in the whole series. And Quentin is the glue that holds their friendship group together.
Facts.
He shows up for everybody. He's the most intuitive in general, and then definitely to everybody's needs. He's the only one who, I mean, you see it with Lance and Robin, but he's the only one that sort of massages everybody, you know? So I feel what you're saying there.
I love that. Yeah, I love that too. Whenever anyone's off, you always hear it through Q. Q's the one that's like, hey, you talked to Harper lately? Something's off with him. Like you said, man, he's on it and he's a good friend. And it's funny how when the very first 2 episodes, Harper was on Q about getting married, and he seemed like he was, I don't want to say he was jealous, but he was damn sure upset. Like
who?
Harper. I didn't get jealous at all. I think that he knew that Xiomara and Quentin was not gonna work. Right. And Quentin was not being himself. So you and your partner can change, quote unquote, and they can bring something else out of you. I liked what Quentin was like, I'm in love, nigga. Because it was like a part of it was like, no, nigga, I actually am changing. I love this woman. And then we see Harper like, yeah, okay. But this shit ain't you though. So like he respected Quentin is saying that, but even thereafter, he still was letting it be known like, something ain't cleaning the water with this. I don't really love this for you. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And I think more people need to be like that. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, I also love that, just that heart to heart they had, you know, when he told him, when he gave him the reason, you know, Mia Death messed with him. He struggled watching his friends in happy marriages and didn't want to die alone. And
that's real.
Sometimes it just be like that, man.
Yeah.
That's part of that, talking yourself into something. Like he used those to talk himself. All right, this woman, everything looked good on the surface. I ain't complaining, whatever. But it just takes more than that to actually sustain a marriage, because that stuff wears off. And I'm talking like I've been married for 10 years. I ain't married at all. I ain't sniffed a marriage, but I could imagine, because I know how much, like, I think Murch and Candace's relationship is probably the most realistic to what a good marriage is. You know what I mean? I think it's realistic. I think they try to find ways to support each other, support their children. Not everything's perfect. They're gonna have their bumps, but I never saw any turbulence. I never saw anything where I'm like, oh, this is on the rocks. They're gonna work through it. Like there's peaks and there's valleys. There's peaks and there's valleys, and they just know how to navigate it. I don't think you can do that if you just settle for somebody. Like I ain't want to be. At some point, it's gonna get to the point I ain't want to be with your ass anyway. So I ain't got no problem with you. You feel me? So I'm glad it actually ended before. And then shout out to Harper for real, because it's rare you're gonna find somebody that's gonna tell you that. This is a wedding, people. Like this is the biggest day of your life. There's a lot of money invested, time invested, other people's money and time invested, and nobody wants to be a disappointment.
Yeah.
And Harper's like, hold on, man. Same way he did with Lance. Like Lance, he was the opposite. He didn't care in the first movie. I'm canceling this wedding. Y'all got me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Harper came, nah, man. I can't let you not marry her. Like, so common thing. Harper steps up, but I love what y'all said about Q and his whole, like, he's the one, the glue that keeps everything together, because that's absolutely true.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely true. I'm trying to think of Harper and never mind. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Let me ask you this: what did you think of the whole Shelby crashing the wedding, crashing the bachelor party, Q come to the airport, like that whole sequence of events. How did y'all feel about that?
You want okay?
Go ahead.
So I don't think that they gave enough info. I mean, we know that they had something going on, but I would have liked to seen maybe a flashback a month ago of them doing something, so you can. They made it seem like they haven't been together in a while, and she just was kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my take on it. But other than that, you go after what you want. Shit, she did it crazy as hell.
Shelby gonna go for broke.
Yeah,
like
sure.
I respect it. Like I said, Quentin needed that, and it's interesting because I don't think Quentin would have done the same if the roles were flipped. I don't know. I can't even say
he
that.
didn't. He said he didn't. When he was going off, he was like, when she went and got married, I ain't say shit.
Oh, I forgot she was married. I forgot that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just thought of it as Shelby. Like, it's a Shelby thing to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think Quentin would have tolerated it if he wasn't with it. Because in a real life situation, this ain't like you found out where the wedding is and we down the street up the block. Like, we on an island. Like, you really plotted. Like, you got to get up out of here. Like, I don't care. You turning right back around. I'm not having it. You know what I'm saying? But you saw Quentin was in them guts that same night.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and said straight up, like, nigga, I ain't married yet.
Hey, one thing that we got to stop doing is them airport proposals and all that bullshit.
Baby, please.
Yeah, that is a movie thing.
Yeah, he had to go see about a girl, man. Shout out to Goodwill Hunting. Self-care is a big thing. And I'll tie that into just figuring out life while you're growing. So one thing that's interesting about this friend group, let me ask you this before we even get into this. Did they look like a fun group to be around?
Not all of them.
If you inserted yourself in that group, would you think you feel like you'd have fun? I feel like I wouldn't be having as much fun as I should. Was as successful everyone is.
Yeah.
And how much resources everyone has. Like, I feel like I just wouldn't have as much fun. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to call it. Like, they just don't seem like the.
I mean, I'm with you.
I don't know. Like, Quentin would. I would definitely like.
I was gonna say
I'd hit with Quentin and Shelby all the time.
You would naturally gravitate to Shelby and Quentin. Like, the rest.
They would be the only ones. I think everybody else would get on my nerves a little bit.
Yeah, Jordan would be having fun, but she on her phone. You know what I mean? Like,
they've known each other 30 plus years. They're in their late 40s at this point, so that's interesting. But just going, like I say, self-care and just figuring out life as you get older. One interesting thing about this group is they're very successful. You have a professional football player. You have Jordan running companies. You have Harper, who's best-selling author. By the time it ends, he's a Pulitzer winner. You have, like I said, Candace and Merch, who are, you see their school flourishing.
Multiple schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Shelby is already 1.3 million Twitter followers, and she's doing different things with the Housewives brand and Spivey brand. So this is a very, very, very successful friend group. And success doesn't mean happiness.
No.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to figure all that out as they go along. And Jordan, I think she's the best example intentionally about self-care. Like, what does all this matter if I ain't even taking care of myself or have enough time to enjoy it?
Yeah.
Have you found yourself, as we getting older, Rachel, in that same predicament, like where you really got to stop and say, "Nah, I got to put myself first about all this"?
Ironically enough, I feel like I'm in that place right now. And hand to God, full transparency, when Jordan was given that presentation and her eyes glazed over, that has happened to me. I was in St. Louis for work giving a presentation, and that very thing happened. Like, I wasn't out of it for as long, but I had been on the road for a long time. Like, it just was a crazy, crazy time, and work was really, really stressful. And I'm giving this presentation, and swear to God, I was like,
What's going on?
Dang. Yeah.
What the fuck? Hold on now. Hold on, Lord. Now, please. It's your girl.
Yeah, shout out to God, man. Glad you're here.
So I know what that is, what that feels like. Yeah. Long and short of what you said, yes.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing to balance that out. And just not, like I say, you're growing, you're figuring out life on the fly. There's a part of you that has to stay true to yourself. That's why I think their friendships really serve a purpose in their lives, because it takes them back to a core before all of that. Back when we were just some kids with some goals, not knowing what's up, because Jordan lost touch of herself. You know what I mean? Or maybe that's who Jordan always was, but I never saw her for the culture, or that was famous, obviously, with the woman from MSNBC in real life. I don't know why I can't think of her name, but her show got canceled. But when Twitter was dragging her,
is that it? No.
But when her show got canceled and Twitter was on her ass, like, you would sell out, you would climb the corporate ladder. I know school said those memes, the Aunt Jemima and the tap dancing, all of that. Just when you hit a certain level, you gotta, if you're not elevating or bringing everybody with you, you kind of get looked at a certain way by the culture. And for her to just kind of take that and just figure out a way to implement everything, I don't know, man. I think Jordan still could have done a little bit more or better, but I am glad that by the end of the series, she did find her balance. Like, I can still be involved and not do as much.
Yeah.
By the way, For the Culture looks whack, like super whack. Like, who watching that?
And I was gonna say, how many people going for that Shelby turnaround?
Yeah, who watching that?
You know what I mean? Like, you just saw her 6 months ago on whatever, acting crazy. You buying into that?
Well, she had also done other TV and had branched off from the Housewives craziness.
But you know,
I can take the TV.
Let me ask this question: if you saw New York on, if you turned on The View in New York, Tiffany New York Pollard was on there.
But it wouldn't be The View. It was, I could see it on The Real. Okay. Just Jocelyn Hernandez was on The Real. She don't have shit intelligent to say. You know what I'm saying? So I can appreciate a planned rebrand in the different. And New York, I think, is very smart. Tiffany Pollard, because she's the queen of this reality TV bullshit.
Legend.
But I think that where Shelby has the advantage is we know that Shelby is very intelligent.
Yeah.
And so, despite the caricature of herself from reality TV, what we know in real life of Shelby, we know that she can turn that shit off and on, and that she's very intelligent and receptive. So I wasn't surprised. Like, she studied, she worked hard to figure out what the audience didn't like about her and capitalize on the opposite. You know what I'm saying? And switch it up. So her switch up was not surprising to me, because she's not new to the TV bullshit in the game that you have to play. So I wasn't surprised by her switching it up like that at all. Rich, to your point, the show did not look interesting. I think that they wanted it to be like a Black View. But it also was on MSNBC. Right. You got to put something like that on network TV and make it, because niggas ain't just turning into MSNBC every morning. So, I mean, some people, but
they were looking for a certain crowd, certain demographic. It wasn't for everybody. You can tell by the way they were talking and dressed. And as you like to famously say, that it wasn't for your niggas, nigga. You know what I mean? And you can just kind of tell that. So it was interesting, to say the least, to have them on there. But Lance and LJ.
Okay, first off, let me just say this. I knew that LJ was going to be, I knew that he was light in the loafers or something the very first time we saw him on screen.
Me too.
So his revelation on being non-binary was not surprising to me. I knew that it was going to be something in that realm before he opened his mouth. Well, the first time we see him on screen, I'm like, oh yeah, he's
So I think in the
Different.
prediction episode, I don't know, I must have misspoke because I said tragedy, which I didn't mean by that, but there was something. I know they were talking about Lance's character having to deal with like a family dilemma.
Yeah. Well, he
tragedy is
ran
probably a
away.
little bit too harsh, obviously. But that family dilemma, and yeah, it was pretty. My thing is how Lance, how you don't know, how you don't see that, bro? Like how you still, I don't know, because he's just an athlete or just the overall idea. I think the theme they were trying to get across is, so many parents have an idea of what their child's life is supposed to be versus just letting their child be their child, and that conflict, and it really hit ahead. And Lance he was the perfect character for that. He's one of them old school
church guy.
My way or the highway church guy, like the way he even stepped to him. And when you Lance, like, bro, I'm a Hall of Fame running back, bro. I'll wash the walls with you around this house. Like,
that's Lord.
who are you talking to like that?
Yeah, I was waiting, bro. I thought it was at one point. I thought it might have been a little confrontation.
Yeah, say it. Like he step into him, say it, because he know what it is. But that just, it was obviously we see the whole arc, but just that whole, and honestly, if we're being all the way real, it happens a lot to professional athletes. Like you look at a lot of prominent, famous professional athletes and look at their children, it's something that they go through, and you see a lot of them seem to excel at it. A la like your Magic Johnsons, Dwayne Wade's. You see, I'm sure there's some that are just probably on some Lance stuff. Like, yo, if you ever, disown you Lance Sullivan Jr.
I will make it about athletes. I think that in juxtaposing athletes against professional athletes against regular people is that I think that humanizes them even more. Like, no, nigga, you and your family are dealing with the same thing as us in middle America. Like, it doesn't matter when I don't even know, because I want to choose my words correctly. Whenever your children are the opposite of what you expect them to be or want them to be, that's a universal theme. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, despite sexuality and identity, you're going to have to deal with your children, quote unquote, disappointing you in some form or fashion. And I'm not calling non-binary people disappointments. I'm saying the perspective of your parent, especially somebody like Lance. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Disappointment could be not playing football. That's a disappointment in itself.
The disappointment, he didn't even want to play football. Like, damn it, you can't do both. And Lance pissed me off before the movie premiere because LJ's shirt, he had on that badass suit. His shirt was not even flamboyant. It just looked like a designer shirt for you to be doing all of that and making this grown ass man go change his clothes. Like, nigga, I'll beat your ass, dad. Low key. They. Like, that wasn't cool. Lance was really, really tripping. But there are parents exactly like that. And I'm not surprised that the show, trilogy, movie series tackled that, because it is something that is very current in current society, and it's a hot topic. So I'm not surprised that this is a piece of culture that we got in this series.
I also to piggyback off you a little bit, the other character, his friend
Lex.
Their friend Lex.
Disrespectful little nigga.
Lex was disrespectful as fuck.
Yeah, but you needed that. That was for all the other, viewers. They're like, yo, somebody got to check Lance. So
they did I think they did. One of the things I applaud is they didn't shy away from the topic. If you're gonna go there, go there, because there's multiple different angles. Because you see Lance as they knew they friend. Like I think Harper said in the text message, if you talking about he want non-binary, Lance gonna shit a brick. The way they asked, like, have you talked to your dad yet? Or everybody else is cool with it. Like, you are who you are. We love you regardless.
And I was happy that Lance was on an island there, in that capacity. And I like that LJ really had Jordan as that's your godmother, and she really was holding him down like, I love you.
Like, that's a safe space.
Be comfortable here. This is a safe space. And
LJ needed that, but
They did.
the biggest thing is, like I said, they showed one of my favorite parts, because this is, I think, how a lot of people in life are approaching that discussion, because I think a lot of people want to know more and want to do the right thing, but maybe not be the most invested or gung ho about it. When Quentin started the call, like, what the hell is
binary?
He didn't even say binary. He said something else. But Quentin was just being a real nigga. I think that's your average nigga. Like, what is this? Like, what is that? Like, he's still using the wrong pronouns.
It's no disrespect. You just don't know.
He just didn't know, and he's just trying to figure it out. And like, I love when Quentin came down and saw LJ in the wig and was kind of like, just gave a look. Like, I'm taking it back, maybe, but keep it down. Like, and I'm not about to, I think Jordan said it, I'm not gonna out you. And I think even after the premiere at the after party, Jordan and Lance got into it, where Jordan kept correcting him on the pronouns, like they, like, and Lance was so defiant about it. Like, I'm not hearing none of that you talking about.
Yeah,
that's son, that's this, that's that. And it was rough to kind of see, because you want that, like, Lance, bro. You just gotta, you can fight this all day, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I thought it's one of my favorite scenes after LJ is found at the church and they and Lance are really having this conversation. If my whole life you've taught me that God loves me and God doesn't love me, I can't be myself at home, I can't be myself at this church. That is such an important and current critical conversation between the church and truly understanding, having the mind of Christ and understanding what God's love truly is. I'm sure there your aunties and uncles and stuff who would not appreciate that scene, but as somebody who's a part of a progressive faith space, like, I really appreciate that, because God is love. So shout out to all my non-binaries and everybody else still trying to find space in the faith. Like, it's still there.
Yeah, it's just like everybody just be at peace with who they are.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Be cool, man. Love and be loved. Or live and let live. That's one of my life mottos. Like, I don't really care about what other people got going on. Just show respect. If you don't know, it's okay to ask. Open the door for both conversations, the whole nine. But like I said, I'm really glad that they just kind of went in. They didn't just dance around the subject.
Right.
They actually had that whole conversation, and I think you can take some things away from it. So shout out to them for that. And obviously the ending of it, where they're in a good spot. Lance is finally accepting, and that speech he gave to the answer he gave to the reporters as retirement ceremony, and just that real respect and make sure everybody knows, like, because it's one thing in the household. All right, I finally came around. I get it. I understand now. But to publicly declare, like, that's Lance Sullivan. I mean, so if we're looking at it in the if we're looking at it in the fictional world, that's like, he's top 50 NFL players. He Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders. Like, he's up on that caliber. He's not just the guy that played for the Giants for 3 years and, your dad used to play in the NFL. Like, nah, this is somebody.
Right.
Our dealership now.
Yeah, it's choking out Stephen Smith. Like, this is somebody. So I think that's a big thing, and that just shows God family football.
God family football
thing, and it took him a while to get there, but I love how all of it tied in. He had to go see the guy, and he had that conversation with LJ in the house of God. Like, all of that just kind of intertwined. I just loved it, and I think that, like I said, I don't think Lance's character had the most to do in all three, parts. But when they did give him something, he went right with it. So I can appreciate that. Before we get into like favorite episodes and stuff like that, can we just have a kid segment?
I hated the kids.
Think about these kids.
I hated the kids. I wrote that down. I didn't like the I think it's in episode 1 when Candace meets Robin and Harper out and she's with the girls. I'm like, sex? Oh, I want to have sex.
Yeah, she used to be a stripper.
All that. Hated that.
I appreciate. Hold on. Go ahead. Sorry.
I appreciate being open and your children knowing that at one point you were a dancer. Well, number one, get the fuck out of my conversation. Like, y'all are too old for that. Y'all not little kids. Like, y'all too old and too young to not know how to know what to do. Also, was LJ and Kennedy bullies? Why was Keisha and Kelly so scared of them?
Yeah. They weren't with it, man. Come on, you know what it was.
They
They the older cousin.
They used to be tearing their asses up.
Who was that in House of Dragon? Aegon and the older cousin that's be whooping. Yeah, man, that's what it was. They said straight up, like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if I want to go over there. You know they bad if you don't want to go over a rich person's house for New Year's Eve.
Anxiety. I mean, that anxiety is not funny. They were pressed to go over, sit in the living room, and you didn't know that your fit was gonna be right for the living room at your auntie house.
Right.
Yeah.
Kennedy and LJ was hell.
Kennedy, I really had some issues with Kennedy. Like,
Kennedy is exactly who I would expect Shelby's daughter to be, and it pissed me off because she was such a sweet little girl.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. She
was such a sweet little girl, but years of being on reality TV, looking at the persona of your mother, being a teenager in the social media age and having access to just unlimited money on both sides, like
crazy.
Man, can we just mention also just the traumatic effect of this dude I've been calling my uncle for 10 years, really my daddy?
Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be something for her to take in, like, especially at 10. Like,
and then they kept dreading on why you ain't calling me daddy? Because I've been calling you uncle.
Yeah, but she wasn't still calling him Uncle Q. She was calling that nigga Quentin or Q.
They let that. You either allowing it or you letting it or you either allowing it or you letting it coaching it up.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, bro, I'm not Q. I'm not Quentin. I'm dad. Like, you stop.
But his father was grandpa.
There's something there. Like I said, do you have enough episodes? The reason we extended this out, I said this on the Best Man Holiday episode, I believe, how I was excited about the fact that we get more detail.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Yo, like, I need more. I need to know what's going on with that relationship. I can guess, but it's still a little weird that there's just no dad, no nothing, except for when he's in trouble. And obviously that was supposed to be the touching point, but
right. I felt like Quentin was always trying to buy her love, which was crazy to me because we see in the holiday that in Best Man Holiday that she loved him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She went and sat with him at the funeral. So y'all already have an established, very good rapport. Then we see in episode 1 in Paradise, or maybe in episode 2, whenever, because I don't know, whenever. But we see that Kennedy is like, I want Uncle Quentin to be happy. Like, he deserves to be happy, and you do too. So how we get to having that sort of feeling, it felt like she was resentful of him for being gone and not being presented as her father. But that's on your mama. He didn't even know. So I felt like she was taking that frustration out on him and milking the fact that you feel guilty for not being in my life. So I need a Birkin. I need this and the third. I mean, I respect the hustle, but also as a daddy's girl, I don't appreciate it.
Straight up. Favorite episodes?
Okay.
School.
Oh man, probably the last one. Episode 8.
Episode 8.
Yeah.
You got any reasoning?
It tied a bow on it nicely. Man, it's been a long journey with these characters, man. We've been at this since 99. Shit, since I wasn't supposed to be watching this. Shit. I'm proud to, and it's good, and I relate to it. So, it was just a good little tie, at the end of it. So, I liked it.
Ray P, what you got?
I've got episode 2, the wedding as a favorite episode. I've got episode 5, 7, and essentially 8, because like School said, it's a good and okay wrap bow on it, everything. But yeah.
I'll say you got multiples. Okay, then if you had to pick one of them, which one would you go with?
Fuck. I might say 7 because entitled Things Fall Apart because shit was really falling apart.
Mhm.
Episode
Good.
7. Shit was not sweet. We have Harper and Jordan showing up at the hospital together, so we get that whole montage. After Q's heart attack, I wrote down we really see that Jordan is for real. Quentin's biggest supporter.
Yeah.
We see the ramifications, quote unquote, of Candace's incessant research. Not even talking about the professor, which I knew he was shady when we first met him too. I knew he was gonna do some.
Any nigga
sneaky
that got
shit.
that little shit under the lip and no beard or no mustache with it. Come on,
Yeah.
man. You gotta hear it, man. I'll trust you off rip.
Yep.
That's
Listen
it.
to me,
Then we see Robin reach her breaking point with Harper. Like she had read that motherfucking the
Notepad?
same notepad I got right here for the sequel. Nigga, I already didn't want you to make this movie. I got to sit and watch you and your old bitch or wannabe bitch have sex. Then you telling me that the movie studio wants you to make a movie just about you and this woman that you in love with and I got to look at every day? That ain't me? Nah, dog.
One thing I did have an issue with Robin is, and they addressed it in the American Marriage episode, was she doesn't address her issues. She never really addressed her issues openly, like she expected Harper to know. Now, I do think that there is something special about knowing your partner, knowing how to read a room, feel around, which Harper's never been good at. I don't think in any relationship that he has, because he doesn't see he does disregard her a lot. One thing specifically that I can think of is the space that they lost for her business, and he said, we'll get something else if it's that important to you, and that would have sent me to it. What you mean if it's that important to me? Now, granted, Harper's looking at it like, bro, I'm providing everything. Like I got you. Like you good. Like so, I don't want to.
So I'm going to defend Harper on this one. I don't think she was very clear in her talking to him about that. Like I think she should have been like, this is very important to me, a little bit more details, a little bit more umph on it, because obviously he wasn't in town because he's writing, and they all said that when he's in his writing mode, like he's not very, you got to be, listen to me, Harper, are you here? Can you hear me? Bro, I want this is important to me. Like you got to be on him because he's in writing mode. Like, so
cool. You absolutely right. I wrote down, if everybody know Harper is a hermit when he's writing, why Robin ain't know?
Right.
That's number one. Number two, first off, I don't like how chummy her and Jahai,
bro. Don't talk about it.
Come on, man.
Okay, I'll pause there. But Robin, you at home walking through the parks with Jahai. Why you couldn't get the details together and put together something to give to Harper? If you got, first off, y'all have no joint account, like I might would have just got the shit.
That's what I'm saying. She had her own money.
You would think that they would have a joint account because remember, Harper said earlier, I see that you upped our donation to this whatchamacallit.
Yep, sure did.
So she had some kind of access to some bread.
So I felt like which it was, quote unquote, that important to her, that there were other steps she could have taken, especially knowing that Harper is somewhere in the zone. I did not like that she called Jahai to what kind of conversations is y'all having that this nigga know you need blankets and shit in your house? Why you ain't
hugging my daughter?
He hugged her daughter.
I knocked your head off, bro.
Have you seen her besides giving me these maitake mushrooms?
I'll knock your head off, bro. I promise on everything.
They meaty.
We talked about Terry Silver. Terry Silver in the Best Man Holiday is Demetrius. I promise you, if I was Harper, whatever that nigga name is, Jahai, like he getting done like Terry Silver. You in a trunk somewhere in the airport parking lot.
He didn't even know about him.
We're not playing that, bro. We're not playing that. Robin, you meaty and delicious.
It was a very flirtatious relationship. You brought this nigga, this stranger produce nigga, farmer in the Dale ass nigga, into your marital home. I'm sure Harper don't know that.
Harper, of course not. He don't know. And Candace up here telling her like, "Yo, like you cool?
Chill. Yeah, just told her to chill.
Why you ain't call Merch to come fix the thermostat? It was nothing that Harper could have done. And I appreciate Lance saying, hey, nigga, you might want to get home. I don't know. I appreciate Lance in that capacity. But I don't want everybody, like, I'm sure I did see the memes. I stayed off the timeline. Like, Robin is the villain. She was not the villain, but she moved hella shady in multiple episodes. At least the last two.
Not only that, she did a lot of, and she admitted to it in therapy, a lot of wanting him to read her mind from the jump. When they were on the beach and she ran into that chef, Savannah, that's when she started dropping them little eggs and shit of wanting to go to Ghana. Remember on the beach and Chef Savannah and those fresh flavors. She had that spot for 20 years and blah, 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 blah. Like she was dropping a little shit then, but she never said it. She just was like, it would be nice to do that. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Well, I was trying to figure out if Chef Savannah, her husband, was trying to get Robin. That's what I was getting at first. Like,
man, listen.
Trying to fuck the bitch? Like, what's going on? They done brought you to your house. You a stranger.
They friendly over there on the islands.
I'm so funny about people being in my house. Like, that terrifies me. Oh my gosh, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, no. Man, that's different, man. That's some weird shit. But it's I don't know. Robin, her biggest thing, I agree with you, Rachel. I never necessarily called her the villain, but she was delusional because she wanted Harper to be something that he wasn't. And she gave him leeway to continue to be who he was because she would give in to certain things she knew she wasn't cool with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that, her agreeing to move into that house when low key, that thing Harper wrote was really about Jordan. It wasn't even about
Robin. Oh, yeah, 100%. But she didn't know that at the time.
She didn't know that, but it was definitely.
She didn't know that until she seen a second.
Like, if you knew you didn't want to be there and you make it a point to where when y'all in an argument, I don't want to be here. Like, you should have stood your ground. Like, I want to stay in Harlem because it's compromise. Because the same way, I think in a lot of times when, especially during like divorce or breakups, the compromise is always looked at from the man's point of view. Like, you need to do this, do more, because a woman's always doing a lot. But I think in this situation, it really fell on Robin to be like, yo, I know you want to go to Ghana and that's where your peace is and your happiness. But my nigga, like, I'm still her father. Like, you got to work with me here. We ain't got to be married, but you can't take my daughter to Ghana.
Out the clear blue sky. I wrote this down. I had a question. How much time had passed since they moved into the Upper West Side house and the divorce?
That's a good question.
That's what I couldn't figure out. And I'm sure that they probably had at the beginning of the episode, like 2020, you know what I'm saying? Whenever the fuck they moved. But I felt like you've been in this house for years, not wanting to be here.
Yeah, at least 2 years, maybe 2 years.
That
or less.
Shit is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you got to look, I don't want to be here. I think at the end of the day, I don't think Harper's going to fight that. I don't think he's going to fight it to the point. He's probably going to get annoying with it. But if you stand your ground, at some point, Harper going to let it go.
I'm sure it's beautiful brownstones in Harlem. Why we couldn't compromise on get a bigger, quote unquote, better place here? If you want us to be somewhere good.
Harper can't be in the moment. He's always thinking about what's next. Keeping up with the Joneses.
The only thing
Clarence
about
Thomas.
Robin, hey, she got him Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom, Clarence Thomas ass nigga.
Hey, but the fucked up part is with Robin is she doesn't speak up for herself, obviously, and she won't take help. Remember the scene where her business is taking off and she says, I got over 3,000 subscribers, and she is making those meals for those subscribers in the kitchen. It's a fucking wreck. And he's like, yo, we need to get you some help. And she's like, tell me about that movie script, like trying to deflect the shit.
Yeah, because first off, you need to be in a commercial kitchen.
But... Exactly. And because I'm calling the health department, bitch. What's going on over there? But even within, like, he's not a mind reader. You admitted to that. Like, you can't be mad at a motherfucker for some shit he don't know because you ain't speaking up. So, sheesh. She ain't the villain.
She's not the villain, but how many endeavors did Robin have prior to deciding that she wanted to move to Ghana? That nigga said, we done put this garden in the backyard. You ain't touched it.
And she protesting, taking my baby to get arrested. Come on, man.
I was weak because I was like, hey, man, I know good damn well Harper in these streets.
Yeah.
Harper, I was chilling. You see how he reacted when she got arrested? When she kept showing that still image of her with that sign and doing that, I'm like, Harper has no idea she out here protesting.
Not at all.
Harper is not
I do love
nigga.
her overall spirit. I will say that.
Yeah.
You know, we have more so we can give more, helping people
Love
out.
that.
Like I can really appreciate that. She just wasn't a good partner. And I think I like at the end when they finally are like, I appreciate you being in my life. I think they needed to be in that space. Like, yeah, as long as you in Ghana, we good. Like, my daughter come on, I'm still hot about the Ghana thing.
Better friends,
and even the shit he does, it's like you like to throw away money, Robin. Like, so why can't I get this damn Brownsville? You want to get you want to open a restaurant where people can eat what they can afford or whatever the hell it is. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of those pay what you can.
Pay what you can. Like, you know she ain't gonna be serving no bullshit. So what? Hey, I know a lick. You want to go get something to food?
What's that move? What's that? What are you saying? Foolish? Can I get a quarter so I get some food? You know where I can get some eat for a quarter, nigga. I'm gonna take me with you.
Straight up, nigga.
But yeah, man, I think I can see both sides, man. It's just about growing together. It's a crazy thing. That's one of my biggest things about personally, just about like partnership, getting married, just that fear of making sure we both grow together and both understand each other and can move in that space and you know, disagree without being disagreeable, whatever, you know, the case is. It's just they didn't have that. They didn't have that at all. And you know, Harper just thought his money and everything he was doing for the family was gonna fix everything. I'm doing this for y'all. Like, he just didn't see like.
And I love that he talked about that in the very first episode when he's walking to that stage and he talks about just how things change when you get older. When you're 20 to 25, you think it's all about money, and by the time you reach 30, you like money can't buy shit, especially not happiness. So absolutely,
and that goes right into the whole when I think he opened up the series by saying like, I'm however old you almost half a century, and I'm just now figuring it out. And I think that's something a lot of us are going through. I know at 35, I'll be 36 this month. It's one of those like kind of just now figuring out this life thing, like which is crazy because when you're young, you think you know it all, and you have a different concept of time. Like me being 20 and thinking about how I was going to be at 36 is a completely different image than what it actually is. Like, because I still feel like I did when I was 20. I've grown and I've developed, but time as a concept, I never feel old. Like, I'm just a wiser version of myself. So learning new things, and you really, the more you learn, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know nothing. Like, you don't know shit. So it's an interesting space to be in. And that's what's interesting about these relationships and that human dynamic. I don't think I just answered with my favorite episode. I'm going to go with episode 6, American Marriage. I told you, I think my favorite scene was the Quincy and, not just for the episode, one of my favorite scenes in the entire series was that Quincy and Murch one-on-one. Just Murch standing up for himself, standing on what he said. He did not show up to that premiere. What else happened in that episode? The Dr. Temple stuff. I really enjoyed the Demetrius Harper Lance situation, like Lance being an observant friend. Situation, because we've all, I know school don't really like club like that or anything like that, but I think we've all been in a situation where you seen your homeboy, your homegirl, you out. This can go left real quick. Like, let me scoop them. Or it could be the opposite. Like, I wanted to go left. I've been wanting to hit this because Demetrius, like the attitude, like I love when Harper got up because that was a get up moment. Like your little movie, like, all right, that was strike one. Like, I'm a little faded, but I'm gonna let that slide. Also, you ain't got no real power, huh? Like, what you say? Like, nah, man, I ain't going. And I just enjoyed the whole dynamic of, like I said, the marriage. Let's try to make this work. I love that they called it an American marriage because it got into all of their relationships. That was one of my favorites. Pieces of Us, as you said, just kind of not merchant, but putting a bow on everything. I love the keep my wife's name
out your motherfucking mouth, nigga.
Quentin stupid, bro.
Stupid, bro.
Yeah. How did y'all feel about Jordan and Harper not being together at the end?
I don't think that they're not together.
I think they are together.
You think they are?
Yeah.
So
they never like. I think they should have made.
He says something about love and your soulmate, and they go straight to Jordan.
But she goes straight to. But remember, the last real significant conversation they had
that was 2 years prior.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that's where they at now. They never once again. Give me that information, seal it down for me. Don't leave me up in suspense. Are they? Because they weren't together. There was no scene that showed them holding hands or arm in arm. It seemed very friendship. It was friendly. It was the same thing they always gave.
I actually agree with School, and I wrote that down on my rewatch because I was confused. So in the opening of episode 1, Harper is narrating, giving this monologue about soulmates, and the camera immediately pans to Jordan.
Yep.
And again, this is 2024, so that ain't even now. This 2024.
Right.
Everything that happens is the rewind up until we end with Harper in 2024 on that same stage. Again, this is after Jordan tells him, I can't wait. If we come back, we come back. If not,
but
I always love you. So I felt like 2024, these niggas are together.
Yeah.
So 2 things. One, they've always been soulmates and they ain't never been together. So
True.
That's the first thing I would say to that. Second, you made the point earlier, Rachel. His soulmate's always been in his orbit. It's no surprise to me that she's there, that he's calling her soulmate. Of course, she'd be there to support. But what I mean is, this show is very specific, or the series has been very specific about making sure we know what's going on. Everybody wanted that, it to be solidified that these two are together. They're a thing.
Yeah.
And I know it meant soulmate, but like I said, that's nothing new to me because they've been a soulmate since before we knew these characters in college.
Damn.
I really wanted to know. I wanted that scene. I wanted them, babe, I'm proud of you. I wanted something like that to let me know, because at the end, I'm like, damn, so all that and they ain't together, because they did that trick at, like you said, opening the series. We're in 2024. He's talking about soulmate. We see Jordan smile. Then we go through this journey. I don't want to be a soft space to land on. And she gave him really good advice. You need time by yourself, not with another woman. You need to really heal from this. And like I said, it's up for interpretation.
Yeah, this is why we could have had some more. This is why I was like, damn, give me some more.
Like I said, don't fill out, don't leave them holes unfilled.
Yeah.
Definitely did.
Favorite scenes? Any want to go through some?
That's too many. I don't know.
I'll go through a couple, just nothing crazy. I already talked about the Shelby lap dance. The Lance Cologne commercial just had me weak. That's one. I told you my favorite scene, or it might be my second favorite scene, the Merch and Quentin one-on-one. But really, it's the favorite scene probably, and what solidifies all of this for me, the card game.
The final one?
The final one. Yeah.
Final one. No words said. Just,
just show up.
My brother needs some love right now, and I know it's impossible to get him out the house. So we're gonna come over here.
We're gonna come over.
Opening the door, no words said. I'm going back to the couch, but I'm leaving the door open so you know what it is. Yeah. We all walk in, say what's up. We set up like normal. Treat it like we ain't gotta talk about nothing. You just got to get out your funk, and just that call back to the original. Quentin said it in the original Best Man. We about to run a Boston on you fools. We about to run a Boston on you niggas. Just to call back. You can tell that was ad lib. You can tell that by Harold Perrineau's reaction. I wasn't expecting that. Tay Diggs even laughed. Wasn't expecting that. But that was one of my favorite scenes. So, like I said, you ain't got to go through the whole list, but just a couple that stood out that you really want to give credit to.
I'm gonna go ahead. One of my favorite scenes is all the scenes with LJ and Jordan. Just that dynamic, just that love. He didn't have Mia, but he definitely had Jordan, and she filled and stepped up every way when he went missing. The tattoo information, she knew he had a tattoo. That was her. That was damn near her son. There was love there. So, and of course, she wanted a child towards the end, because why wouldn't she?
Yeah.
She felt that love towards the end. So their relationship, for sure, every scene was dope.
What you got, Ray?
I got all of those. I have the last fight scene with Robin and Harper. Also at Shelby and Quentin's house. I have Merch in his final winning that MMA title when they're all there, and the quotes when Marcus or Quentin is like, my titties perky, my nipples perky like a motherfucker, because they had never seen Merch even have an ounce of aggression, and even Candace is like, hold up, like I was like, wait, turned on, like what's up, baby? All of that. And we also see some of Regina Hall sort of comedic, get that motherfucker, like it just was a good ass scene. I liked all the cameos we got from Jamel Hill, Michael Smith, Bomani. I liked all of that because real life
Black sports media
be talking shit.
Because ain't no way that nigga should have been 48 coming back to the NFL.
Come on, ain't no way. We said Shelby. I liked Ziamara getting Shelby together. Because she deserved that bitch. Don't show up to my motherfucking wedding. The fact that she didn't even kick her off the island, like don't love that.
She wanted to rub it in, like it don't matter what you do. Like obviously it backfired.
I'm here. Yeah. I like them all being high on the ayahuasca journey. And again, shout out to Terrence T, fine black ass. Because God is real. That's a motherfucking man. We got the cards, Demetrius, all of that, and
Demetrius is sucking, slap shit out of him.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I just had to say that. Anytime his name you mentioned about this thing about like, if I see him in real life, bro, I'll yoke him. Not the actor. I'm not one of them crazy dudes that can't separate the actor from the real person, but I'm talking about the character Demetrius. If I was in that world, like I'd have slapped him at that party. I'd have been washing that nigga at that after party.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, Lance, you ain't bro. What'd he say? Say that again. Anyway, keep
You're crazy. No, that's it. And we already kind of touched on it, but the whole Kennedy and LJ dancing and he in the women's clothing and Quentin walking in, and then the whole group chat phone conversation, all of that, it definitely leads to some old niggas and just like your crew on the phone, like, now wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? All of that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah. I guess before we wrap things up, you mentioned something about alternate endings, Rachel. Yeah. Did you see any? Did you prefer alternate endings for any of these characters? Did you like the way it ended? Like, how do you feel about it?
Okay. Let me scroll down. I mostly liked it, but I think the only thing that I wrote down was I wish that low-key Jordan and Robin would have actually like got into it. We see when they're at
Lance's, when they looking for LJ,
and they have that silent moment, like, yeah, bitch, I know something happened, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Where were you really at, Harper? I wish that they would have really had words. And I know that it would have messed up the group dynamic and messed things up, but I just really would have wanted to see that because, yeah, bitch, I know that you want my husband.
They wild, man. School, what about you? Any alternate endings that you would have wished for?
No, not really. I would have liked to see what you talked about for sure. I would have liked to see a better Jasmine Lance type of thing.
Okay.
I think it was quite weird that he didn't know she got that job in New York when they had just talked on New Year's Eve. Like, that was just weird.
She ain't say shit.
I guess.
Right. She don't look at Lance the way everybody else look at Lance. Like, she's not from American football. She makes that point. Like, that ain't nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my quotes too.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that explains the World Cup.
Explains the World Cup.
Yeah, the biggest sporting event in the world. So, yeah, I would agree with that. I'm happy with Lance and Jasmine actually getting together. One thing that really pisses me off anytime there's a sequel or a trilogy, if they got 4 kids, man, like, try to make it seem like they got 4 kids. Like, them little 2 kids missing and just randomly popping up. Yeah. Even at the Jersey retirement, Faith is around here somewhere. Yeah, like, you can't find a little fill-in? We don't even know what the kid look like.
Because they shouldn't have brought them random biracial children up there. No way.
Right.
Where did y'all get these random ass kids? It focused on LJ and Hope.
I know Malcolm was salty, like, damn, why I give them 4 kids?
Yeah, because now I got to find something for these other ones to do.
Yeah,
Hey.
they had nothing to do. They was in that little still frame photo, in the third episode at the cemetery. Like,
Silly,
come on, man. Like, that's some silly shit. But like I said, I'm glad that they finally, or Lance found happiness after the grieving. I'm happy with Merch and Candace. It looks like they're in a very good spot. Like I said, they didn't really have much friction other than Merch. Ooh, Merch wanted to lay hands on Dr. Whatever his name was.
Temple.
They should.
I felt like Candace was low key hoeing Merch though.
So yeah, she especially when that moment when she told her to take the girls to etiquette class.
Yeah,
like,
because they showed a scene specifically of her seeing that she knew about that class and she knew the next day. So she was like, I'm just gonna ask him to do it.
Dr. Temple, Rachel, kind of what you mentioned, that goes into one of my flaws of this show too. Like, what happened to dude? Like, what result? Like, I want to know what that ended up being. There should have been the Merch Dr. Temple scene. Maybe not physical, but it should have been, nah, bro, I'm not going. Merch even did a good job of like, he was in this house, I'm not going. I love the fact that Candace did say, like, I don't need your anger, I need your love.
Yes.
Like, I do appreciate that, and that's probably what stopped him, his love and respect of his wife, to not take it there.
But I'm still going.
But I don't know, man. You might not know, but I'm on my Batman shit.
I'm still
I'm pulling up. I can't go to. I'm one of them people. Like, if it bothers me to the point where I can't look at myself in the mirror or go to sleep, I gotta pull up on you. I ain't gotta put hands on you necessarily, even though it might lead to that. But you got some hands, bro. You up here feeling on my wife? You think nah? Because by the time I look at him in his face and I think about it, I'm gonna get angry and I'm probably gonna jail. But that was just some trash.
But yeah, I didn't like that magazine. Just that quick little magazine outing, whatever.
Time's up type thing. Yeah,
I would have liked a little bit more details with it.
Yeah. Sure. Who else did we have? We had Quentin and Shelby. Like I said, I thought they were solid. Obviously they're in a good spot. I love the, one thing that we didn't talk about. We don't have to get into it, but just your parents getting older. Things with his dad. His dad's probably scene stealer.
Wellington is my scene stealer.
Yeah.
I love how deferential they were to him and just wanting to appear successful and wanting him to be impressed, and then just what we saw of him, like this stoic ass black man, even when his mind started to go. I like seeing him and Kennedy together. I loved Wellington.
Yep, Robin.
Well, I also love the dynamic of his secretary or whoever she was. I don't want to miss, whatever.
The one that he paid 5 times.
Yes, her.
I love. Quentin ASAP was like, we got to rectify that.
Yeah, like all that. Like, I just love that relationship where she came and told him, like, because she didn't have to tell them that. She could have just mentioned the car and she would have been good. But she mentioned that 5 times. Hey, she a G.
Yeah. And then Robin and Harper, like I said, at the end, the goal is to be successful parents. Yeah, it didn't work out marriage-wise, but we're in a good space as friends. It did seem like Harper gave that genuine, heartfelt, I appreciate you for being you. Robin obviously sent their daughter over there for his big day, his big moment.
Absolutely.
The blended family thing, it's all good. Like I said, is Jordan a part of this? So we'll leave that up to interpretation. But I think it ended well. I know you said, Rachel, that you could go for some more. I think I'm cool. Cool on this, and I'll just take the rest for imagination. I also wouldn't be shocked if we get something in 5-6 years.
I don't want it then.
Yeah, but what you think they're finally gonna start doing every 2 years? Like, come on.
No, it gotta be done. But go ahead.
Yeah, but overall, y'all, it was a lot. Oh man, I'm so upset that this wasn't done episodically. Go ahead.
It should have been released episodically.
Go ahead. Got some trivia.
I do have some trivia. Every episode is titled after a black book. Some black literature.
I have Things Fall Apart up here in my library. I have Pieces of Us in my library.
Classics. Sure. But that was it. That's the only trivia I have.
Okay, got you. Ray, did you have anything else to add before we get out of here?
No. I also have the Invisible Man.
So look, y'all, like this was an interesting episode for us because we just treated it like a conversation. There's so much it's probably our longest episode we've ever done. We're clocking in about an hour 40 minutes. It's just so much to talk about, and it's hard to structure it when it's not episodically.
Yeah.
That's a disservice.
They really
Yeah.
fumbled it with that because we could have really gotten to some more things. But if we really wanted to talk about everything, we'd be here for another 2 hours. And I know y'all want
Man.
to listen to that. I don't think we want to talk about it for 3 hours. But yeah, we just wanted to at least give y'all something because it is worth watching.
Absolutely.
It is something that I enjoyed. Like I said, I ran through it twice. I'll watch it again for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and pick up on some things, but we wanted to give y'all something with it and welcome to the new year. Like I said, check us out on this feed and the We Got Y'all feed.
We got y'all.
For television also. Too high, too low, just right. Let me actually pull up this rating. Actually, you know what? With it being so fresh, I don't even want to look at the rating because they're not a ton of votes compared to the other two movies since they've been out for so long. But on a scale of 1 to 10, School, what's you rating this?
I'm giving it a 7.
Okay.
Good old 7.
Ray P?
8.
That's higher than I thought you would say.
I'm gonna meet y'all in the middle and go 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah. When I first watched it, I was definitely 8.5
Yeah.
around there.
It's
like I
C.
said, a lot of stuff that goes on where it's just like, man,
Yeah.
so weird
Inverse.
thing. Kind of wanted more.
Yeah, inverse for me. Even though I could take more.
Yeah.
That's what he said. But when I first watched it, if you remember, I text you like I got a lot to say, not all
Right.
good. Because like I said, I probably was gonna go 6.5, 7 on first watch.
Got
And
you.
then so after I rewatched, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see, I get it. Oh, I missed that time. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, if this episode's a little scattered to y'all, like I said, we're just having a full conversation about
That's
8
it.
episodes, 8 hours of content. We're trying to squeeze into
1.5.
or a little bit over. So, thanks for listening to us. We'll be back with our, regularly scheduled program next Thursday.
Yes.
Excited about getting back in the flow of things for 2023. It's going to be an incredible year for the Culture Garden podcast. We're looking forward to all the things that we're going to bring y'all. A lot of cool stuff that we're just not going to get into yet, but we got some stuff for y'all for sure.
Absolutely.
With that being said, like I said, we'll see y'all next Thursday. To Rachel, to School. Love y'all.
Hey,
Love you.
love you. Let's give out these flowers to Nia Long, Morris Chestnut,
Tay Diggs,
oh yes,
Regina Hall.
Man, they've been at this since
And I like
99.
that.
Just these characters.
Melissa
Terrence
D'Souza.
Yes.
Terrence
Terrence
Howard.
Howard. Shout out to Terrence. He said he's retiring. I don't know if this is true or
He
not.
been said that.
but-
He's been
11
saying that.
But if this is his last role, he delivered.
Way to go.
Way to go.
Way to
Yeah,
go.
absolutely,
Did we
man.
say Harold Perrineau?
Yes.
Shout out
Harold
to you too.
Perrineau. And shout out to Mia Calhoun, who made a couple of cameos.
Yeah.
Malcolm D. Lee.
Monica Calhoun.
Monica, what I say, Mia?
Mia.
Mia's her character in Best Man. My bad, Monica Calhoun.
Shout out to
And
Monica.
did you know that one of Candace and Merch's daughters was Stephen A. Smith's daughter? I think the youngest one.
What
That
you
was-
mean think? You can look at her.
I'm sorry,
She
Stephen
got
A.
it.
Smith. That's his daughter.
Yeah. That's her whole that's his whole face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
He just revealed a couple
And now
years
that
ago.
I'm looking at her in my head, yeah, she
Yep.
does.
Yeah,
You your
Yeah.
daddy's son, daughter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Which explains his cameo as well.
Mhm.
Right.
But yeah, Best Man trilogy as a whole.
Thank
can't get
you,
much better.
Malcolm
They
D.
really
Lee.
don't. They really made some great characters, and they all have that chemistry to uphold the test of time. So,
Absolutely.
like I said, I'm ready to get back on our regular schedule. I can't wait for these actual TV shows that we're going to cover that come out episodically.
He got y'all.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lord.
yeah. So we can actually really give y'all some real good, solid breakdowns. But
Yeah.
other than that, we'll see y'all next week. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool.
Peace.
Peace out. Cut.